Hey folks, back for another episode of the vlog. This was a fun one because I'm going to do a deeper dive into the business of law and how I think it's going to change over the next few years due to things like AI advancements. So that's number one, the business of law. And I'm going to share a quick story about a lawyer who I spoke with who's basically vibe coding his own AI platform and how I think it's examples like those that are going to change the business of law. And then number two, a book review. Finished an awesome book this week. I'm going to tell you more about what it is and what I thought. Let's jump in. Hey folks, Josh here for another episode. This one should be a fun one because two things. Number one, I want to talk about my big topic of the week. And number two is I did finish another book this week. So at the end of the episode, stick around. I'm going to talk about the book I finished, what I thought about it, lessons learned, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to jump right in. So I want to start with, I had a really interesting conversation. I shared this on my Substack the other day. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way. Link will be in the description. But I had a really interesting call with a fellow family lawyer this past week. And the reason why we even set up the call is because he reached out on LinkedIn because he had built his own app. He vibe coded his own app using AI. Now, for those of you who are not too familiar with AI, let me rephrase that in plain English. He used AI to build his own web application, aka his own platform, right? So let's say you're a law firm owner out there, or maybe not. Maybe you do something else. You're not stupid enough or crazy enough to go into law like some of us. But basically kind of like his own CRM, right? So maybe you use Clio, maybe you use Practice Panther, maybe you use HubSpot, maybe you depending on what you do and what industry you're in, right? You use some sort of like CRM or kind of like platform to manage your firm, manage your business, whatever it might be. This gentleman started out just learning the basics of AI and then eventually started teaching himself how to build apps. Because now you don't even have to code. You don't have to know how to code to build entire apps by yourself. Now, is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be better than a software developer? Probably not. But especially if you want to just build something basic, you'd be shocked at what you can build so quickly using AI by what they're now calling vibe coding, right? So if you're like me and you don't know how to code, you can actually use AI to code for you, and they call it vibe coding. That's what the cool kids are calling it these days. So anyways, this guy reached out to me on LinkedIn. I get this every once in a while, right? Because there's not too many lawyers who are also in tech and building AI products and stuff like that. And he reached out and basically said, hey, I'm a fellow family lawyer. I built my own platform. I'd love to just show it to you and, have a conversation. And so he showed it to me. Now, again, I've had some conversations like this in the past, not a ton where a lawyer will build an entire app by themselves. Maybe they have a developer they're working with. Maybe they just built a little tool. And, some of them are cool, some of them are not so cool. But this one seemed intriguing. I checked out the website, I checked out his background, and he showed me the platform, and it was really cool, right? So basically a platform where you can log in, you can invite your clients, you can create matters, they can upload documents. AI is extracting data and filling out forms and doing your billing and stuff like that. Again, the features themselves are not so important. The important part here is that it was a lawyer who by himself taught himself to build an entire platform from scratch that he's now using to practice 10 times more efficiently than most firms, right? So a couple takeaways there. Number one is that is kind of going to be the new norm, I think, and it's only going to become more accessible because the tools are only going to get better. The features are only going to get better. You're going to be able to do way more with less. And secondly, what it gets me thinking of is, how is this going to change the business of law moving forward, right? So let's take in a vacuum family law, separation, divorce, all those fun things. Forever, pretty much, lawyers have been billing hourly for those services because you never know how long it's going to take. Some files are more amicable than others, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens if we extrapolate out a little bit, right? So we have this lawyer, he built his own platform, he's leveraging AI and technology to practice 5-10 times faster, more efficiently than other firms. How might this play out? Well, number one, he's going to start doing everything faster, but that doesn't really get captured through the billable hour, right? So my hypothesis is for areas of law that still are billing hourly, over the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to actually see a big shift into fixed fee. Why? because a few things can happen, right? Number one, maybe he sticks to hourly, and for a court appearance or drafting a document that would take most firms 5 to 10 hours, maybe he can do it in 1 to 2 hours. So his prices are going to come way down, and assuming the quality of his work still remains high, equal, it may even be better, right? There's obviously a risk of like a hallucination causing a big stir, but let's just assume that he can at least continue to do equal work to what he used to do in 1/5 of the time. His prices are going to come way down, and over time, it's the firms that are practicing like that are going to win out because their prices are lower, right? If you're charging half or a quarter, over time, you're going to win out over firms that are charging 3, 4, 5 times as much. So that might be number one. If we take it a step further, then a few things can happen from there. Number one, that either means that that firm can take on way more clients, and or it's going to get to a point where the law firm is going to want to start charging a fixed fee. Why? Because it's easier and clients prefer it, right? Clients would much rather pay a fixed fee that they know upfront than have to pay a high hourly rate where they have no idea what the final bill is going to be, right? And secondly, from the law firm perspective, you're still going to want to be able to capture the value that you're creating. So what do I mean by that, right? Right now, let's say it takes you 7 to 10 hours to prepare for a conference, right? 7 to 10 hours. You have to draft the materials, go back and forth with your client, edit them, finalize them, prepare ahead of time, show up in court, attend, et cetera, right? Let's just say 7 to 10 hours, ballpark. With AI, you can now do it in 3 to 4 hours, right? Let's just say for easy math, this is not the case, but let's just say for super easy math, you charge $100 an hour. An experienced family lawyer, they're charging 4, 5, 6, 10 times that, right? Like if you're an experienced family lawyer, obviously depending on country and jurisdiction, you're probably spending $3, 4, 5, $600 an hour. But let's just say for simple math, you charge $100 an hour. If those 7 to 10 hours are going to cost your client $700 to $1,000. What if with AI you can do it in 3? Well, now you're only billing them $300. But as a law firm, number one, you're going to take all the clients from the firms that are charging you 2.5 to 3 times as much. But you might actually then be undercharging because you've built and invested in all this system and AI and technology that is allowing you to work so efficiently that it's actually hurting your top line, right? Unless you can get way more clients to make up for it. So instead of continuing to bill $100 an hour, you might just decide to charge a flat fee. Maybe you just want to charge a flat fee of $500, right? So on average, it takes you 3 hours. That would be 300 in billables. The competition is charging $700 to $1,000. You can still raise your prices and capture more of the value that you're providing to the client. So instead of just billing them $300, you could charge them a fixed rate of maybe $400 or $500. The client is still saving money compared to the non-AI firm, and you're making a little bit more because of that added value. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be phase one, which is more and more firms, some of them, not all of them, right? There's going to be the firms that don't do this, but some of the smarter firms, more innovative firms are going to start adopting AI, and their billables are actually going to start coming down per client. You can still just get more clients and be totally fine, but over time, the billable amount per client is going to slowly come down. That's going to help them get more clients. And then over time, they might actually shift to something like fixed fee. Because number one, it's what clients want. Number two, it's actually more convenient from an administrative standpoint for the law firm. And number three, because if the AI and your internal processes continue to get so good, it actually is not the most valuable thing for you to do to continue billing hourly. It doesn't make sense, right? Imagine if you could draft something in 7 minutes. You're not going to want to bill a 0.2. You're still going to want to bill a couple $100 at least because, hey, even though it took you 7 minutes, that's because you built up a system and knowledge base and custom AI to help you do it in 7 minutes, right? It's like they say, hey, you don't pay the plumber $500 to tap on the pipe and make the fix. You pay it for the 15 years of experience to know where to tap on the pipe and how to fix it quicker, right? That's kind of like the best adage I can think of off the top of my head. So anyways, that's what I think is going to happen in areas of law that are hourly. There are still areas of law that are fixed fee, like immigration, maybe wills and estates. That'll be interesting to watch because they could arguably adopt AI, do those files much more efficiently. I already see it happening in immigration because we sell software to immigration firms, and freeze or lower your prices. And then good luck to the firms that continue to have to raise their prices, right? Because their overhead continues to go up. So anyways, those are my thoughts this week on the business of law. I do want to quickly spend a few minutes talking about the most recent book I finished, which is here. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see here the Tao of Charlie Munger. Put it right here. And the subheading is a compilation of quotes from Berkshire Hathaway's vice chairman on life, business, and the pursuit of wealth. And this was a really good book. I pretty much read and enjoy anything that has to do with or is about Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett. If you've been reading my stuff, subscribed on my Substack for a while, you know that. And the really cool thing about this book, and I'm flipping through to show you, is it's only 4 parts, right? So you can see here, 4 parts. And what it is I'm going to flip to a random page just so you can see. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see. But it's basically the top half is a quote from Charlie. And then the bottom half is the author expanding on the quote and talking about like what is the key takeaway from that quote. And I really like those kinds of books because it's kind of like quicker hit. You can flip to any page. And as I was saying, there's 4 parts. So he actually breaks the book into 4 different themes for these quotes. So part 1 is successful investing. Part 2 is business banking and the economy. Part 3 is Charlie's philosophy applied to business and investing. And part 4 is Charlie's advice on life, education, and the pursuit of happiness. So it was really good. It's nice and short. It's less than 200 pages. For me, that's pretty darn short. And you could just pick 1 quote a day and check it out. In my case, I typically read for anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes a night. Maybe you want to focus on a particular topic, or like me, maybe you just want to read it from front to back and then maybe go back to it here and there on specific topics. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely worth the read if you're interested. Like I said, I try to read anything and everything about or from Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, and this is no exception. So anyways, that's it for this week. Thanks very much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast platform. And make sure you're on my Substack. The link will be in the description because every week you will get this right to your inbox and you'll get my other 1 or 2 emails per week on different topics that I talk. Anyways, thanks again. See you in the next one.